7:04. So I'll call the meeting to order and we can start doing some of the action items. Any one particular we want to take first, Leah?
Well, unfortunately, you have to read your script first.
I was waiting for the first part. Okay, I got it. I'd be happy to do that. How quickly we forget. Okay, before we get started, let's introduce everyone on this meeting. I'm Sandra Brock. When I call your name, please confirm that you can hear me and verifying that you are present. Starting with the commissioners, Helen,
I am here and present.
Alicia,
I am here.
and John.
Present.
Very good, thank you. And I'll go to staff, Leah
Present.
and Samantha.
Present.
And we don't have anyone else online yet, correct?
Right.
All right, so we'll, when they do come on, we'll ask them if they can hear us. Okay. The this open meeting of the Conservation Commission is being conducted remotely via Zoom, consistent with the Governor Baker's executive order of March 12th, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to COVID-19. The order suspends the requirement of open meeting law to have all meetings in publicly accessible physical location and encourage public bodies to hold meetings remotely with, whoops, crap, sorry. Hold on one thing. I hit it and it moved on me. I have to find my place again. Access information for the public is provided on the town website. Please note this meeting is being recorded. Please remember to mute your phone or your computer when not speaking. As chair, I will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, I will invite each commissioner by name to provide any comments, questions, or motions. After the commissioners have spoken, I will allow public comment, starting with those in advance of the meeting, followed by real-time comments or questions typed by participants in the chat feature. Anything typed in the chat feature needs to be addressed to everyone, not any sole individual. Both types of comments and questions will be followed by real-time commission and applicant responses. Finally, each vote will be conducted by a roll call. Cool. All right, so we have that taken care of. Action items. Any you prefer to take up first?
No, you can just go right down the list if you want.
That works for me. So let's start with the meeting minutes that were sent, circulated. Does anyone have any comments or clarifications on those meeting minutes? So I'll go around real quick. Alicia, anything?
Nope, they're good.
John?
Nope.
Helen?
No, all good with me.
Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from the March 2nd meeting.
Do I have a second?
I second that. Oh,
You guys get to fight over that. I'll leave it up to Leah and who responded first. We have a motion and second it. So we'll do a vote and I'll do a roll call. Alicia?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Helen?
yes.
I am also a yes. The motion carries. Okay. So we also have a November 19th through February 16th meeting minutes, minor formatting and editing revisions. Can you let me know what kind of?
Yeah. So Samantha made some tweaks to different sets of minutes, things such as spelling out what acronyms stand for, spelling out dates, and making language consistent, such as no disturb zone versus no disturb area. She did do a list, an itemized list that's in Dropbox of all the changes she made, as well as putting the amended files themselves in Dropbox. If you guys want more time to review them, we could vote on them next time. If you're comfortable and you vote on them, what would happen is an amended date would go on the copies and the new copy would go to the town clerk.
Okay. And again, this is more formatting, grammatical type of clarifications. They're not even really changes. You're just, like spelling out an acronym and so forth.
Correct.
I do not have any issues with that. Does anyone have any comments on this or questions? Alicia,
No,
John,
No.
Helen?
No, I'm good.
And we can do all of these votes at once, correct?
Yeah, I would just use the dates as she listed it, November 19th through February 16th.
Great. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the revised meeting minutes from November 19th, 2019 to February 16th, 2021.
Do I have a second? I knew this.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and second. We'll do a roll call vote. Alicia,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
and Helen.
Yes,
I am also a yes. The motion carries. Okay. The potential conservation land donation. What's up next with this?
Yes, we talked about this last time. 4 Millennium Drive is the piece, one of the pieces left in Centec Park. Pretty extensive wetlands on the parcel, so the WBDC was looking to donate this piece to become conservation land because there's not really any development value in the parcel. So Lisa, who was on the meeting last time from the WBDC, went back to find if a 21E had ever been conducted
Yep.
to check for contamination on the site. She found one from 2001. It flagged some issues with adjacent sites. It didn't seem to flag any on the actual site. I did send it to town council.
Okay.
So in addition to town council reviewing the title, I also asked her what her take is on the 21E being from 2001. She did say that if we're interested in pursuing this further, she thought we should try to reach, if possible, the LSP that did the study at the time, or maybe the same firm, for clarification, because the 21E appears to have been done on the entirety of Centec Park. So she said we should get clarification on what exactly pertains to 4 Millennium Drive now.
Who is
I
the?
don't know. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, please finish before I ask a question.
I don't know if that's gonna then trigger needing to do anything new, or if it's just gonna be like a point of clarity. But that's where it stands right now.
Okay. And who's the company that did the 21E?
Let me look. CDW Consultants.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was just wondering if, if I have the right firm, they're fairly large, which means at least they'll, even if it was 2001, it was 19 years ago, they should have the records. So,
Who was the
Uh,
LSP?
I have a few names at the top of the page. Here you go. Up here.
Okay. I know Kathy's still there and Yee's still there. If that helps.
Cool.
yeah.
Would-
Yeah. I mean, to me, this is, they're a little bit larger than like a 1 or 2 person outfit, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, they usually have better institutional knowledge in a company like that. That's pretty much it. So
Alicia,
cool.
would you happen to have contact info for them?
I'm connected to Kathy on LinkedIn. I used to work with her a long time ago.
Okay.
Let me see if I got what I got for contact info. Hold on.
All right. If you have something, send it my way. If not, I'll reach out. A different
Okay.
one.
Okay. Okay, so basically, so it's always going to be something, right? So basically, so we'll defer to town council and see if we get any more information on the 21E, and then we can make a recommendation to the Board of Selectmen.
Yeah, I would recommend not doing a vote of recommendation now till we figure
Absolutely.
out what this step is like. But I did just want to make sure that that you guys are interested in taking this next step with regards to the 21E, because we discussed it last time, and I believe the commission saw value in the parcel.
Correct. Yeah. And again, it's, yeah, I just want to make sure that we don't acquire the piece of land if there's any issues with it. That's all. So,
Sure. And just a side note, you had asked if any part of Centec Park had been flagged, like back when it was all planned out as something to become open space one day. I didn't see any reference to
okay.
any open space.
All right. So it's a bonus. I mean, otherwise it just gets divided up into certain parcels or it gets put onto another parcel. So I don't have any issues as long as it's there's nothing that the town needs to be aware of before acquiring it or
Sure.
accepting it, I should say. Cool. All right. So when's our first public hearing is a continuance and no one's on yet?
Correct. Samantha spoke with them this afternoon. They still are waiting on their DEP number, so they did verbally request a continuance. They were supposed to follow that up with her in writing. We don't have it in writing just yet, but we'll make sure we get it to back it up.
Okay. So so I can just why don't we just take care of that since it's 7:15?
Okay.
All right. Okay. Pursuant to the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act and the Grafton Wetlands Protection Bylaw, Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing to act upon a notice of intent and application for Grafton Wetlands Protection Bylaw for construction of an addition in an in-law apartment at 7 Alana Drive. The applicant has not received the DEP number yet and has requested a continuance to our next meeting on what date?
April 6th.
April 6th. Do I have a motion to continue the hearing to April 6th?
I make a motion to continue the hearing for 7 Alana Drive to April 6th.
Do I have a second?
I second it.
We'll do a roll call vote. Alicia,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
and Helen.
Yes.
I am also a yes. The motion carries. Okay, so let's go back to here. Certificate of compliance, 157 Pleasant Street. So you've been out there, Leah, and the signage is in, so you're recommending issuing a COC?
Correct. We were waiting on their signs going in the last couple of meetings. That's all set now.
Great. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the certificate or to issue the certificate of compliance for 157 Pleasant Street.
Do I have a second?
I second it.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call vote. Alicia,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Helen.
Yes.
I am also a yes. Motion carries. Next up is a minor change request for 29 George Hill Road. Any kind of details on this, Leah?
Yeah, I'll pull up the plan. So in working with National Grid, it came up that they need to dig a trench for their utilities. So on the plan we previously approved, they roughly drew where that will go in red. It will cut through the very corner of the no disturb. I did bring to their attention that I wasn't sure how you guys would feel about it's sort of like a waiver request after the fact. So I did bring up that you guys might want them to pay a waiver request fee, even though they're not in they're not still in the application process. And rather than waiting for that discussion tonight, they went ahead and paid that fee and made reference to requesting a waiver from to allow activity in the no disturb for that corner.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, my take on this is unfortunately you don't have a lot of control over the utility companies and where they put stuff.
Right.
So, I get it. It's also which pole it comes off of and so forth. So So I don't have any issue. Do we need to do anything about the fee since they already submitted it?
I mean, you guys can decide if you're in agreement with that being paid or not. If you don't agree, we can issue a refund.
So I'll go around to the commission. Alicia, got any thoughts on that?
No, I mean, I'm okay with it. It seems reasonable.
John
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
and Helen?
I'm all right with it too. I think it's all kind of water over the dam, right?
Yeah.
Of a sort.
What's the fee for to get the waiver? It's like
50.
it's $50. Okay,
Mhm.
so they had to pay an extra $50. They chose to pay an extra $50 because they're doing work in the 25-foot no disturb. It's standard practice. So yeah, I don't have any issues with that. I agree with the
Okay.
rest of the commission. So so beyond that, it's really just should we follow up and make a motion to allow that work to be done, or is
Yeah, I detailed the motion to make in my agent report. I did have a condition to put on it. When we approve minor changes, it basically goes out in the form of a letter because there's no official form. So
gotcha?
in my letter, I was going to add, if the commission is in agreement with it, a condition that once the work is complete and the trench is backfilled, the no disturb be allowed to regrow naturally and remain undisturbed, just for clarification.
I think that's absolutely fine. Any other comments or questions on this? All right, Alicia,
Nope, no questions.
John,
No questions.
Helen,
None.
do I have a motion to accept the minor change with that recommendation?
I make a motion to approve the minor change for 29 George Hill Road with the condition that the trench be backfilled and the no disturb area be allowed to regrow naturally and remain undisturbed.
Do I have a second?
I second it.
We'll do a roll call vote. Alicia,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Helen,
Yes.
I am also a yes. The motion carries. Did everyone have a chance to look at the letter for the coal tar based asphalt? It's a letter of support. It's in the it was in the Dropbox.
And I really liked the Facebook post on that too. I don't know if you guys made it or who made it.
Samantha made it.
Yeah, it had a lot of information, and I think that's really good because a lot of people don't necessarily understand. It was good.
Thanks. I tried to make it pretty simple, but graphics and all that aren't really my
Yeah.
thing. I tried.
Yeah, I mean, basically, it's the letter seems fairly straightforward. I certainly don't have any issues with it. Does anyone else have any comments on this? So, Alicia,
Nope.
John,
No comments.
Helen,
I'm all set.
okie doke. So Leah's bringing it up. Would you like us to make a motion to approve that, or
Yes,
Or-
please.
okay? Do I have a
I'll make
motion? Oh,
A
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
motion to endorse the letter of support for the coal tar based asphalt sealant ban.
Do I have a second?
You do.
So we have a motion and a second. Roll call vote. Alicia,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Helen.
Yes.
I am also a yes. The motion passes. Okay. Uh, 274 Providence Road. Oh, the increase in impervious one.
Yes. So you guys might remember this comes up once in a while. When a lot is in the water supply protection overlay district, they are typically allowed 25% or 5,000 square feet of impervious surface, whichever is greater. However, as long as the building inspector gets favorable feedback in consultation with us and the town engineer, He can approve up to 75% impervious on a lot, as long as the techniques they're using maximize groundwater recharge without risking contamination. So that brings us to 274 Providence Road, which I can pull up on the screen. You guys might have seen it. It's right behind or pretty close behind the Cumberland Farms in South Grafton. So they're looking to do some townhouses there, and they are looking for 48% impervious cover on the site with their infiltration basin underground designed to infiltrate 5,000 cubic feet, which they said is 10 times the required volume. This did go before Graves for peer review in the planning board process. It's not a project that came to us because they're not near wetlands and their lot is not even at an acre for the stormwater permit. The town engineer relayed that he's okay with the approach. So we just need to provide our comments.
Okay. Yeah, you answered all the questions I had about jurisdiction. So, and if those people doing the reviews are okay with this approach for the stormwater, I don't have any issues. Go quickly around. Alicia? Whoops. She's not there at the moment.
It's a dog instead.
I know it's like the draft with Bill Belichick's dog is what it is. Yeah. We'll have to get the name so we can enter it in the record. Okay. John, any questions on this?
I think that's Morty. I could be wrong, but there's
Okay.
Alicia.
There we go.
Alicia, is that Morty?
Mm-hmm.
Morty voted for you.
Oh, okay, good. Morty has no questions.
John, any questions, comments?
No, I don't have any questions.
And Helen?
All right.
Fine.
Okay.
Yeah. And so we need to do a motion on this so that you can send that info to them.
Yes, please.
Do I have a motion to, what do we do? To send the buildings inspector our feedback, that we have no issues, and that the approach is reasonable and the commission finds no issue with it.
I make a motion to provide feedback to the building inspector regarding 274 Providence Road, that the approach that is proposed is reasonable and the commission finds no issues with it.
Do I have a second?
I second that.
Roll call vote. Alicia,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Helen.
Yes.
I am also a yes. The motion carries. Okay. I guess the only other thing is, Alicia, is there anything else? I only have the one thing to kind of close the loop, but anything else?
That's all
No.
I have.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of close the loop on the email you sent out about the budgets and the different funds we have and
Okay.
what we can and cannot use things for as it relates to Quinsigamond, I'm going to screw it up, the Quinsigamond Lake Commission, is that what it's called? And
The Lake Quinsigamond Commission. We just call it the LQC. for
okay,
short.
I was close.
Another acronym.
I was close.
Very close.
And just the fact they're looking to get some CPA funds and they're looking for other potential funding mechanisms. And so we had asked in the previous meeting to kind of, was there anything available in, kind of our different funds, and we get funds from different sources. And Leah sent out an email that kind of outlines this. And so, so I guess, if people had questions on this,
So just for clarification, it only went to you and John because that's who the
Oh, I'm
conversation
sorry.
was
Okay.
with. I can try to find it and pull it up on the screen if you like.
okay. It's actually pretty good information for the rest of the commissioners to have. It's just a
Leah,
list of where all the different money is.
Leah,
The
I just
email
sent, I sent
meeting
you
is
all of
still
Kathy's
email.
info.
Okay, thank you.
Leah,
I had
the
old
email's
emails
a
from
week
her
ago.
from like 10 years ago when I know her info's, I think the address might be different, but everything else is still the same.
Okay. Sorry, John, I didn't hear you.
The email is from a week ago, March 9th at
Okay.
8:59 a.m.
If you don't have it, I actually have it up on my computer. I mean, I
Okay.
think in general, I think it's just a kind of it's nice to know where kind of all the money is and where it goes to. And one of the big things that I was interested is a lot of the funds that we have, um, we can't just spend it. There's very specific things that can be spent on. So that's kind of the question I had. Even, before we even asked the question, should we, provide any funding for this study to do the invasive removal, we have to figure out if it's actually allowed based on the fund it's in. So um, like, so under the budget, Lakewood Sigmund Commission has, we have annual dues. Some of the other ones you get down further is kind of the DEP fees, but there's very specific things that we can use it for. And so kind of what I was looking for is, not, I wasn't looking specifically for how much money do we have to help with this effort. I was just looking for, could we even do it? And Leah, tell me if I'm wrong. That doesn't seem like a fund where we could that we have any flexibility to actually do that. It's
Correct.
about protecting land. It's about doing peer reviews. It's about purchasing land. So there's nothing in here that I saw that relates to providing money for studies by another group.
Yeah, I mean, the closest we get is professional and technical, but our office gets a very small
Right. Yeah.
allotment
No.
for that.
Yep.
There are other departments like, I don't know, like the town engineer, for instance, has a very large professional and technical budget. Ours is very low. We use it if we had to cancel a meeting and it's nobody else's fault, we pay the re-advertisement fees
Right.
out of that. We pay, like if we need to call in a peer reviewer for something not application specific, would pay out of that. If that were, in theory, I guess if that were larger, that would be a possibility.
Right.
Going forward, we could certainly make a budget request for an allotment of money for these types of lake items.
Yep.
But we are already in the FY22 budget season now, so it would be looking at FY23 to
Right.
ask for additional funds.
Right. Yeah. And again, and I appreciate you going through this because I mean, what we want to do is be able to, understand that, but also let them know that, we actually don't, the funds that we have flexibility on, we actually have rules around the DEP fees, the wetland bylaw fees, those type of things. And we cannot use it for, based on our understandings, we cannot use it for a study like this.
Correct.
So, okay. So John, is that sufficient information?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And I just thought it was really good information. And at some point, Lee, you can just send it to all the commissioners just so that they understand the monies that we have are not random and they can only be used for certain things.
Yep, I forwarded it to the other three
Great.
before I pulled it up on the screen.
Okay, dokie. So based on that,
I have a question.
sure.
If how does the commission address things like invasive plants and things that seem to be choking out part of the waterways in Grafton that a year ago or so, a gentleman came to the meeting and expressed his concern, and I contacted several people in the Worcester Commission groups, and they described it to me and as to what it most likely was, and that does the town have the funding to address this, or is this something that we have to get state funded from, or is it because we're just looking at all this, all the monies and so on. How does one or a town commission address those sort of things?
So a commission may not. I mean, sometimes it's done by the town, and usually it's a budget. I mean, they, like I want to see Lake Ripple. They did several years ago. So, but that came from the town. A lot of times it's who actually is in control of that land or that lake or that pond, and
So
so
that would
forth.
be the town itself.
Yeah, yeah. So
It's-
then that's how it is. I mean, I'm sure they, what the Lake Quinsigamond Commission is doing is worthwhile, and that's why it was like, yeah, we'll take a look, but we can't use our funds that way. You would have to, as Leah said, put it in a budget so that you would have it, and based on where we're at, that'd be a couple of years out.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
yeah. No, I think it's a good question. I wanted to find out a little bit more on it, and that's all.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I didn't get the email, but I mean, I totally understand, and it is good information.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sam.
Okay. That was the only thing I had. So anyone has any other questions or bring up anything? Alicia?
Leah, I just have a question. I know we had talked about this pre-COVID. Is there any, I know the town hall is opening back up. Is there any talks about doing any of the townwide event type things? I know we had talked about doing kind of some public information type sessions at some of those town events, and it might be a good opportunity just to do some educational stuff about some of the invasive species. Maybe, or even if we could put out like a Facebook post on ways that people can avoid spreading them and bringing them in, such as rinsing off canoes, kayaks, stuff like that when they're going from different waterways, that sort of stuff.
So I haven't made any concrete plans, but it is certainly something we can pick back up. Since you're pretty tied into like Grafton Rec and stuff like that, do you know what the next upcoming event to shoot for would be?
I don't know, because everything for this summer seems to be like a lottery. They haven't announced any big things. I know they have a couple like paddle nights going on over the summer. I don't know what kind of turnout they typically get at those, but if they get a lot of people that are canoeing, kayaking, that do it regularly, that might be a good chance just to hand out some info
Okay.
at those, if they get people that are enthusiasts. But I haven't seen anything in terms of any of the town events or any of the family stuff going on yet this year. I think it's all still kind of COVID dependent, I guess. I
Right.
didn't know if the town hall had mentioned anything about any of the stuff.
Not yet.
Okay. I mean, it's the paddling nights. I mean, I wouldn't mind. I'm going down at least to start off and just handing out some info or just talking about ways to prevent, spreading these sorts of things. If, don't take when you take your canoe out of one waterway, clean it off before you put it in another, stuff like that.
I'd back you up, Alicia. I'd go right down with you and help you pass out stuff.
Yeah, I mean, even if we just took 5 minutes at the beginning, explained it, and then, but I think that's at least a way to reach a handful of people. If, and maybe some social media stuff as well.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I think those are great ideas. So,
We can try to pull materials together, and I can find out what the calendar looks like for events, and then we
Okay.
can review
Yeah,
it
they
up
just
from
sent
there.
out the summer brochure this week that has those canoeing and kayaking events on it. In terms of anything larger, like the night out at the police station, we don't really do anything for Earth Day here that I know of, so there's not really an opportunity there for anything, but just any little opportunities to get that information out there, as well as information about the open space that's available, especially with all the people that took up hiking as one of their COVID activities. I know there's constantly people posting on like the Grafton Moms site looking for new spots to hike, the fairy garden, the storybook trail, all that. And I know that's not all necessarily our area, but just publicizing the open spaces we have available and what different amenities are at each one, like ones that have spaces for horseback riding, ones that have areas for dogs, ones that have fields, stuff like that. I think having that information available as we approach the warmer months with the amount of people that have been getting out more because of COVID would be really helpful.
Yeah,
That sounds great.
I don't disagree, but I am gonna give you guys the warning that we have very full plates right now, so it's not gonna be very quick, but I will add it to the list and we'll start working on it.
Well, if you need help putting stuff together, let me know, because I started a new job and I at times have some extra time. I get out of work much earlier than I used to, so I go in
Okay.
much earlier, but I get out much earlier. So in the afternoon, sometimes I have time I can work on stuff.
Okay, we'll let you know then. Thank you.
Alicia, are you talking about the paddling nights at Silver Lake Beach with Fin and Feather?
Yes.
Yeah, they list them on the website as July 13th, 27th, and August 10th of 2021.
Oh, sorry about that. Just had to check on my
Okay.
fireplace, I should say. Not a fire, a fireplace. So
Hopefully your kitchen's not on fire.
no, it's not. It's just like I was just making sure there wasn't a lot of smoke coming in because I could, I have a fire going, so I could smell it. I was like, I gotta go check that. Yeah.
Yeah, those 3 events are what I'm talking about, John. It just, if we were down there for a little bit before they started, just to
Yeah.
give out some information and have a quick discussion, it might be better than nothing.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it might be something that I'm participating in that I don't know about yet because my wife hasn't read the article yet to make me participate in it. So, yeah, I'd be happy to help, and at least with some of them, to hand out flyers as well or whatever. So
There used to be signage that we could order about, rinsing off your boat and stuff like that. I don't know if it was like done through, I don't know, a coalition or something. I don't know if they still offer that campaign material anymore, but I'll see if I can get my hands on some of those too.
one of the
Okay, that'd
ways
be great.
one of the ways you might be able to short circuit it a little bit is if Fin and Feather in Upton or whatever, if they're doing the course or they're leading it, maybe they could speak about it with us, that like they could enforce it as well or just emphasize it.
Yeah, you're right.
Rather than, I mean, we could be there as well, but if you tell the folks from Fin and Feather that are running it, I mean, I'm sure they would speak to it,
I mean, it could be
Especially-
something as simple too as like this summer, a couple of Saturdays, head down to some of the areas where people are putting their boats in and just hang out for an hour or two, maybe catch a handful of people. But I mean, I could go sit down there with Spence. He would have a ball, and I could talk to some people, hand out some flyers, have a little table or whatever. I wouldn't mind doing that at all.
Yeah,
that sounds good.
I know that Silver Lake, they're trying to figure out how to approach Silver Lake with people and spacing and everything this summer, but it sounds like it's going to be a different experience on a regular basis. A lot less people, obviously, and
No
they're social
lifeguards.
stuff. And no lifeguards. I saw that Facebook
Yikes.
feed.
Yeah.
So, yeah, mark me down as interested to help too.
All right.
Sounds good.
Okay. Anything else? John?
That's all I have.
Helen?
Me.
Leah, I've got nothing else. Leah, everyone's good. So that means one more motion.
I'd like to make a motion to close the meeting.
Do I have a second?
Second that.
Alicia,
Yes.
John. Whoops, missed you.
Yes.
Helen,
Yes.
I'm also a yes. The motion passes. So that's it.